gotta wonder, did he only make this movie because Rowan Atkinson wished to play James Bond at some point? My name is Daidarius and welcome to the review of Johnny English Strikes Again. So Johnny English Strikes Again is the third installment in the Johnny English franchise, and just the way they release these movies is baffling. I mean, the first Johnny English came out in 2003. We then had to wait 8 years for a sequel back in 2011, and then furthermore 7 years to get a third installment. So this franchise has been going on for 15 years. It's insane. But anyway, Johnny English Strikes Again has a Johnny English plot. The movie starts with that the MI7 gets hacked by an unknown hacker who then releases the location on their undercovers and sleepy agents throughout the world, and they now need to find an agent who has not been exposed, so there had to be a retired agent to go after this hacker. So they bring in Johnny English because he's apparently the only one left who hasn't got his hip replaced. So Johnny English and Buff are then back at it again, and they go to, I think it's France, but I'm not entirely sure. They go into Southern Europe to try and find out more information about this hacker, and then they get into some extremely awkward and yet kind of funny situations, then trying to take down this bad guy and get evidence of this bad guy, because we have a female prime minister who has only one thing in mind, and that is to be better represented in the public eye. So she needs to get a young high-tech IT billionaire on her side, so she will then look like she is hip with the youngsters, and then maybe have it easier in Congress. Or it's not called Congress, it's called Parliament over England. So easier in Parliament, and is better set up for re-election. That is pretty much this movie summed up, because it is extremely simple plot-wise, but then again, what do you expect for a John English movie? Yeah, this is a weird movie. Anyway, let's jump into the good things. First off, I think that Rowan Atkinson is better in this role than he was in the second Johnny English outing, because in that one it was just extremely cheap situations just to get a laugh out of people, and it just felt forced, whereas here it feels like he's just letting loose and just going with the flow. And yeah, it's not his best presentation, but he does seem to have fun with the character, has fun with the movie, and he does get to show what he is known for with his physical comedy, even though the man is getting a bit up there age-wise, so he can't do as much physical comedy as he could in his younger days, but he still got it. He can still make you laugh with only expressions of his face, and that is what I love about him. He can do a lot with his face. There are also a few references to Mr. Bean, especially his bombastic dance is representative in this movie, but they don't go overboard by trying to reference Rowan Atkinson's earlier work, and I like that approach, because since this is the third movie, you would think that they will run out of ideas, so we need to throw as many references into this movie as possible, especially if you look at the success of Deadpool 2, but no, it does try to make something, I won't say new, but let's say different comedy-wise. Also, the chemistry between John English and Buff is what you expect at this point. They have a good chemistry, especially Johnny English trying to be this extremely confident and competent agent, British agent, and then you have Buff, who's just trying to, clear up the mess that John English always leaves behind, because he is a clumsy idiot if you think about it. But he means well. But their chemistry is still on point, and also Johnny English's chemistry with the female lead and the Prime Minister, and just Johnny English's interaction with the other characters works surprisingly well. And I will also say that this movie doesn't take itself too seriously, and a movie like this needs to not take itself too seriously, because this is not the greatest movie, this is not the best movie. It is a movie you will put on a Saturday evening because you need to burn off 1.5 hours and want to be a bit entertained. So that's what this movie is. It is not great, and let's just get into the cons, should we? So the cons, well, first of all, there are still some extremely forced comedic scenes and situations in this movie that just falls flat because they feel so forced. It feels like they are trying too hard to create comedy. That is not how you create comedy. Comedy should feel light and, spontaneous, and also just free flowing. And I think the more they're telling the actors to relax and just remembering them that this is just a third movie, it's not the Citizen Kane or anything. Don't need to amp up their expectation. They might be more keen to create more, genuine comedy, I think is the word I'm looking for. And it does happen sometimes in this movie, but there are other times where it is just an awkward situation that is not funny at all. And I know that Britain is known for the awkward comedy situation. That is what they thrive on. But here, it just doesn't work most of the time. But you will get a few chuckles, especially when they put on Sandstorm. Sandstorm is in this movie. Weird. The villain is also kind of out of place. I mean, he's trying to be serious, but he is trying to be serious in an unserious movie, but in an unserious way. It's kind of hard to define what, but it's kind of like a bad impersonation of the old Naked Gun movies where they have the villains to be kind of serious but goofy so it fit in the universe, whereas here it doesn't really work at all. And then there's the mission. It's not that interesting, but then again, it seems like they want to just replicate what happened in the first movie. The first movie is still the best one because there the things were genuine. Whereas here, it's kind of hard to put my finger on what doesn't work in this movie because everything just seems half-assed. The character writing is half-assed, the direction is half-assed, the comedy is half-assed. But the movie still has something going for it. It has an extremely interesting car chase. It has some funny moments in a VR scene, and I like the fact that it was trying to go the Die Hard 4 way, which means that Johnny English and Buff are going the analog way, since that the villain in this movie is an high-tech nerd or high-tech hacker, so he can hack everything, so they need to be analog. I like that approach, but there isn't that much to say about this movie. It does kind of seem like that Rowan Atkinson is a bit tired of doing these kind of slapstick comedy because he has done that. He has tried and perfected that art form, but has left it behind because it's not him anymore. That's at least it's my take from this. Just in general, the way it tries to force comedy on you, it gets stale pretty quick, and it just means that most of the comedy scenes you just go, you just exhale air. That's pretty much the standard throughout this movie, but it does get a few laughs out of you because some of them are actually quite good, but it then push the envelope too much and then it goes stale again. And that's just the restaurant scene is actually, I didn't find the restaurant scene funny at all whatsoever because it was one of the times where they tried to force the comedy on you and just go, haha, we can do Mr. Bean again. No, you can't, because he buried that character. Mr. Bean functions in small dosages in a movie that is not called Johnny English. And the thing is that if you've seen Blackadder, you know that Rowan Atkinson can be funny with words alone. They should have done that here. It is one of his strong suits. But no, they just want to do the physical comedy. And again, Rowan Atkinson is getting grayish. He's getting older and he's not able to do all the physical comedy that he used to do. So don't focus on that side of him, then focus on his verbal comedy. And maybe throw in a fact or two that he is getting a bit older. He's not the Johnny English he used to be, even though the Johnny English always has been a bad agent. He has still saved England once, and then in the second movie I can't remember for the life of me. What did he do in the second movie? I'm too lazy to look it up, so it's not that great a movie anyway. Maybe try to go in that route. I don't mean make him look like he is a 90-year-old man walking around and can't hear anything and has a replacement hip or anything like that, but maybe just make it so he doesn't really understand the new technology, the smartphones or anything, and he insists to go analog. And just some of the hurdles that come with that. They even tried once to show you the hurdles when you need to use a payphone, and it was just quickly done. It was funny in the beginning. Yeah, just half-ass, man. I'm going in circles. Okay, let's finish this review up. But this movie is, it's kind of fun. And should you go watch it? Yeah, no, not really. Not really. Because it's not really worth it. And I mean, this has got to be one of the worst reviews I've ever done. But then again, it is Johnny English 3. What did you expect? You got some few laughing scenes. You got a lot of non-laughing scenes. You got a so bad guy. You have an over-the-top ending. Yeah, what can I say? Johnny English Strikes Again. Should catch it on Netflix. My experience. Maybe I should watch Iron Fist Season 3. Nope, they cancel it. So Johnny English Strikes Again. Have you seen it? I mean, why? Is it because you like Rowan Atkinson? I mean, who doesn't like Rowan Atkinson? But I just wish that he would do more dramatic roles. Now we have seen what he can do comedy-wise. But maybe the man just wants to race around his race cars. I don't know. But anyways, have you seen Johnny English Strikes Again? What did you think about it? And what is your favorite comedy spy movie? Whatever you think, comment below with your thoughts. And as always, until I see you in the next video, remember to stay awesome. Bye! Wait a minute, is it in James Bond called MI6? So it tries to be one better? Is that how it goes? Holy shit.